a lot of times our spiritual leaders can miss the practical side of things. Like, okay, now that I prayed and I shandarabasi, now what do I do when I go home on Monday? Like, how can I practically work on these things? There are some real practical stuff you have to do, like go to therapy.
Can't black and shine, can't kill my high.
Hello, beautiful ladies. Welcome back to another Tap In with TK. My name is TK, and I am so excited that you are here with me. Today is a very special video. I am super duper excited to dive in deep on this conversation because it is a very popular conversation. It's probably pretty trendy right now. But first and foremost, is if this is your first time being here on Tapping with TK, we are all things femininity, thriving in our femininity, getting back to who we are originally created to be by God, right? And we're also talking about evolving and just becoming and being unapologetic about growth. Like literally, this is the place for you if you feel like you have been a little fearful of becoming or growing, baby. Here we fearlessly we are stepping into that woman, into that young lady. And so if you feel like that's something you want to be a part of, a sisterhood you want to be connected to, this is the place for you. So go ahead and like this video, comment, and don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can know every single time I drop a video. And I drop once a week on Tuesday. So y'all got to come in and get this meat. Let's dive right into it. So today we are talking about stepping into your soft girl era. Now, y'all know, wait, before you walk away, like, okay, everybody's talking about this. What is this? Everybody's also talking about femininity. But are they speaking about it from a heavenly perspective, right? A lot of these things, and I just need y'all to know this, trends and a lot of the things that the world takes and make popular or perverted and, you know, put a little splash of demons on it, it's originally God. Like it's a lot of it is original Bible stuff. And we can talk about from, well, let me not say anything because I don't want y'all to beat me up, but a lot of things that are now new age religion or just secular mindsets, it came from the Bible and they just perverted it. And so even when we talk about a soft girl era and femininity, a lot of these things are biblical, and a lot of these things, and I will be sharing with you today, literally from the mouth of Jesus, how God encourages us to rest and step into this soft girl era and be present. Now, according to the Urban Dictionary, the soft girl era is essentially a phrase used by women who want to step into their divine femininity, get back to the basics, living a slower life, and being more intentional. And I don't know about y'all, but like, baby, for myself who have kids, I got a husband, a home to take care of, business, ministry. When I hear live a slower life, I'm like, yes, show me, please. How can we do this? How can we get into it? Now, I want to get something out of the way. And I don't want to say it like that, but I want to briefly speak on a part of this journey that you cannot avoid. It's unavoidable. It's non-negotiable, which is your healing journey. You cannot expect to be any type of a feminine, soft girl era, a woman who is aware of herself and slowing down if you are not healed. Trauma, abandonment issues, rejection, sadness, depression, anxiety, these things, if you are not actively and intentionally and aggressively taking care of them, they will take over your life and you will absolutely be operating in your most masculine energy. You will absolutely know nothing about a soft girl life. You will know nothing about being present. You will not experience this. And this does not mean, I'm not telling you that you have to be healed. I'm saying go on your healing journey. There are things that I am actively working out. There are things that I am actively pursuing healing on. Like, Lord, deliver me from this. Keep me from thinking these things. Keep me from feeling these emotions towards this person. God, you see this thorn? Help me, Father. And listen, if y'all want to get a healing video, I say this all the time, please DM me as y'all do. Thank you so much for doing that. Comment if you're like, no, we need some practical steps to move into our healing journey. Because one thing that I love church, I go to church every single Sunday for the most part. I'm a church girl. I love being in community with other believers. But one thing that I do know, as being in church for most of my life and a minister and serving pastors and being close into leadership, is that a lot of times our spiritual leaders can miss the practical side of things. Like, okay, now that I prayed and I shandabasi, now what do I do when I go home on Monday? Like, how can I practically work on these things? And it's something that my husband and I have made kind of a part of our ministry, is to like speak on the spiritual things, but like there are some real practical stuff you have to do, like go to therapy, like pray and go to therapy, like go to church, boohoo, cry, shout, dance, run around, and then like tomorrow see your therapist, like as soon as possible, So there are some practical, if you want practical tools on your healing journey, I say all this to say, let me know. I want to first speak on one of the things that I think is the biggest hurt to femininity, and specifically for this video, being able to step into your soft girl era. It is the number one thing that I hear when I talk to women, when I coach women, my friends, myself at times. It is the number one thing that hurts us from being present, from stepping into our soft girl era, for feeling like we are, I don't want to say in control, but well prepared, planned, organized women. And that is multitasking. And when I say multitasking, I'm talking about doing the laundry, cooking, cleaning, picking the kids up, you burnt the chicken, like just doing too freaking much. Lacking the ability of being present. The Lord has been giving me one word, either every week or every other week. He gives me one word, and it's the word that just, it takes care of me. It carries me through that, whatever I'm going through that week. And earlier this week, the Lord dropped the word in my spirit, and that is minimize. Minimize, sis. Listen, my last video, I talked to y'all about the pains, the unseen challenges of becoming the woman that I am. And one of them was just dealing with a lack of loss by letting go of things. Some of us are finding our identity in busyness, feeling like you bossed up because you're booked and busy. That's not cute. It like, and then when you talk to these type of women, you can tell she's like, I gotta go over here, and I got a session over here, and I gotta do her lashes, and I gotta do her hair, and I gotta go back home. It's like, breathe, sis. What can you let go of? And a lot of times when I am able to inspect on a woman's life, there are things that I see that it's absolutely unnecessary, including mine. Just like I told you last year, I was on a brink of a breakdown. I was just overwhelmed. We were kicking out these podcasts. I was editing everything on top of cooking every night, doing the kids. I mean, just all the things that, I get to do as a mother and a wife that I once enjoyed. Now I'm like dreading doing my daughter's hair. It takes forever to cook now. And I love cooking. Why? Because I had too much on my plate. Minimize. What is something in your life that you can look at and be like, I don't got to do that. I don't have to. Like it's not it's not a mandatory thing. And for me, that was singing on the praise team. Did it all my life. Everywhere I go, I'm like, I know I'm going to be on the praise team. I'm a worshiper. This is what I do. Not in this season. What else did I stop doing? I stopped going to a bunch of Christian hip hop events. Leaving my family at home and staying out all night and driving an hour and a half by myself there and an hour and a half back. I'm like, do I gotta do this? I don't. I don't. And the thing is, it sounds easy, but when you start looking into your life, woman of God, and you start saying, okay, what are some commitments that I've put myself in that is good, but I just don't have to do anymore? It's a challenge I really want to encourage you to take, to look at your life and be like, okay, what are some things that I can absolutely minimize? What are some things I can take out of my life to make life simplified? How can I simplify my life? And it is hard. It is some hard decisions that you might have to make. One of them might be going out with your friends. Now listen, in every season, I dip off. In every season, I go MIA. In somehow, some way. And I remember when I would, especially when I gained new friends, I'm like, dang, is she gonna understand that I'm gonna dip off for a while? Like, I'm not gonna go out with her as much. I'm not gonna be on the phone as much. Is she gonna understand this, right? And y'all, while I was praying this morning, I'm talking to the Lord, like, Lord, keep my friendships, because I'm not really talking to a lot of people right now. I am really into just looking at my life from a very a critical way. Like, it, what am I doing that is pointless? I really want to be in tune with God, y'all. Like, I love knowing that I am in alignment, and I am so careful with my steps and what I do and who I become cool with. So I'm praying, and the Lord literally dropped this in my spirit and said, Jesus had boundaries, and he often would withdraw. I'm going to prove it to you. In Luke 5:16, the New Living Translation says, but Jesus often withdrew to the wilderness for prayer. Often. Let me pull up the definition of often, because I don't think y'all be understanding how we are actually supposed to be dipping off often. You should be stepping into a season of pulling away, like, and just talking, having a conversation with the Lord. Am I doing what is right? Often means frequent, many times, a numerous of times. So if I am frequently dipping off, I'm doing what Jesus doing. I'm doing what he did. How do you think it, and go back to my point, Jesus had boundaries. How do you think that Jesus was able to heal the sick, raise the dead, make the blind man see, take the demons up out of the possessed woman, the little girl? How do you think he did that and was able to serve people and feed people? Because he had boundaries, and because he often withdrew. Luke 5. He stepped away. And a lot of that's one of the biggest things we don't minimize. That's the first step. Like, sometimes we're just doing too much, and there's no such thing as managing 4,000 jobs. It's just no such thing. So one, we just need to actually minimize. Then we need to often withdraw. We need to withdraw from people, tap in with the Lord. Do you actually ask God in each season, am I doing what you have called me to do for this season? I know for me, I carried on an occupation 3 years outside of its deadline. Fearful of letting something go, I allowed it to attach itself to my identity. So you have to ask yourself, are you really tapping in with God frequently? Are you withdrawing often to even ask him, God, what am I supposed to be doing? Am I supposed to be going to this job? Am I still supposed to work here? Am I still supposed to be friends with these people? Am I supposed to talk to her this much? Am I supposed to be going to dance class? Am I supposed to be, like, ask often. He withdrew often. Mark 1:35, to prove it again. Before daybreak, Jesus got up and went out to, y'all know I love this word, an isolated place to pray. Before daybreak, Jesus got up, went out to an isolated place to pray. Proving the point again. Do you step away and actually ask the Lord, am I doing what's right? Do you actually isolate yourself from the chaos? He had 12 people around him all the time, crowds around him all the time, but somehow he had enough boundaries and enough awareness to know, I can't do none of this without that quiet place. I can't be gentle Jesus and love on y'all and have all this pull. Y'all know I talk about all the time being a pourer and pouring and pouring. Well, just as much as he poured, if not more, he went back and connected to the source. So, but we out here pouring and going to this and doing that and doing this and saying yes and committed to that and ain't even connecting to the source, and wonder why we are on antidepressants and smoking weed and over drinking and going out and not sleeping and got a pill to go to sleep, got a pill to wake up, got a pill in the middle of the day for our mental breakdowns, because you're not tapping in. You're not frequently withdrawing. And I think it's time to determine What is on our list of things that's most essential? What are the projects? What are the tasks that is most important? This process requires clarifying what you believe God is calling you to do in this season. And what I'm realizing is we might know our overall kind of purpose, but in that season, we don't know exactly what we're supposed to be doing. So we do a lot of things we're not supposed to be doing, which makes us masculine, which makes us feel overworked, which makes us feel like we're being used, which makes us feel like we're the only poorers. Because we are not determined, we are not clarifying what is essential for that season. Why can't we do that? Because we're not withdrawing, because we're not pulling away. The bulk of it all, you can't do without Christ. But then there are practical things like prioritizing your spiritual life. Once I've minimized, because that's the key word for this whole video too, is minimizing. Once you've minimized and you have the responsibility to make your life simplified. You have to look at your life and say, okay, yeah, I'm going to church and I'm doing all these things for my church. Do I have to do it? Listen, I'm not telling y'all to not help your local church, but sometimes we're just doing too much. Sometimes we are doing a lot of good things, and the enemy to excellence is good. The enemy to soft girl life is doing a bunch of good things. Doing a lot of good things for even good people. And so I want to warn you that people will not like some of the moves that you make. My isolated seasons of not talking on the phone, I can't give a bunch of advice in this season. I cannot go out with you in this season. I am picking and choosing what days, what opportunities I get. I'm picking and choosing my when I say yes and what I commit to. And the Lord told me what my season is. Has he told you? Are you ignoring it? Or have you not given him an opportunity to tell you because you haven't been like Jesus and had boundaries and often withdrawing and isolating yourself to even hear from the Father? And so that's it. I want to challenge you. If you want to step into your soft girl era, you want to be pretty and feminine and all of these things, we have to stop multitasking and doing a bunch of good things. If you want to thrive and slowing down your life, being present, y'all, one thing that I love is my life because of this very thing, because of the word minimize. And it's something that the Lord spoke to my husband on a completely different occasion. And I knew it was for our season and told the Lord the same thing. Get back to the basics. What did I tell you? Y'all know y'all hear this all the time. What did I tell you to do that you haven't done? What did I tell you to do last season you haven't done? Stop all this bunch of trying to be this, trying to be that. Go back to step one, finish it. And y'all, it's way more peace over here. Like if you stay connected, if you're not connected and you minimize, you'll feel like you're missing out. If you are not connected to Christ and knowing what your season is, you will feel like people are passing you up and they get into the bag and that's how you'll feel. That's why you got to stay connected, because I know right now I am in complete and total alignment with God and my purpose in life. How do I know that? Because I'm often isolated and withdrawing to actually hear from him. I want to end this with what I believe is the most important scripture for this video, and that is Luke 10:38. Remember, I told you that I was going to tell you out of Jesus' mouth of how he actually wants us to slow down and step into our soft girl era. Luke 10:38. As Jesus and the disciples continued on their way to Jerusalem, they came to a certain village where a woman named Martha welcomed him into her home. Her sister Mary sat at the Lord's feet, listening to what he taught. But Martha was distracted by the big dinner she was preparing. She came to Jesus and said, "Lord, doesn't it seem unfair to you that my sister just sits here while I do all the work? Tell her to come and help me." But the Lord said to her, listen closely, y'all, "My dear Martha, you are worried and upset over all these details. There is only one thing worth being concerned about. Mary has discovered it, and it will not be taken away from her." What was Mary doing? Being present. She wasn't worried about trying to present a bomb dinner to Jesus. She wasn't worried about cleaning up her house and making sure the diaper bags was put up. She wasn't worried about making sure she had the perfect filter before she encouraged someone on Instagram. She wasn't worried about showing up with the mask on. She just sat at his feet. She was so connected to the source that she knew what to do without it even being spoken of. There was that certain thing in her spirit that said, this is my moment to be. And you can only do that if you are really tapped in. And it's something that Jesus encouraged. He said, I'm not taking this away from Mary. She got it. She got it. I told her to slow down. She did it. And I'm blessing her. You mad she ain't helping, but you supposed to be doing what she doing. You know? And so that's it, y'all. Live life intentionally. Be courageous and be pliable to the shifts in your life. You have to be. You have to be willing to bend and turn and twist, because if you really say God is in control, God is in control, and he can change your whole life and your whole path tomorrow. Will you say yes? Will you actually do it? Or will you be so attached to the old and to the friends and to the job and the occupation and what people know you for? So I believe stepping into a soft girl era is stepping into a disciplined life like Jesus, having boundaries for your spiritual life, to be connected to the source so you can know what each season is, so you can minimize and be able to maximize life by being present. So I hope this helped you in any way. I pray it did. I know a lot of us talk about all of these feminine and soft girl things, and it's just not possible without God. Like, I'm sorry to be corny if that's corny to you, but it's not. Like, when all you know is busyness and all you know is rush and hurry, that's all you know. And so you have to go to Jesus to unlearn those things. You have to tap in with yourself and the source, God, and know a new life. Like I say in my videos, I am a new person. I have to get to know her. And this new me is only known by God because he created me. So I have to go to him to know me. So spend the time with the Lord. If you want to step into femininity, don't go into these trends and not actually get the meat of this and not get the meat of the season, okay? So I love y'all. I pray this video helped y'all. If you like the video, make sure you like the video, comment, subscribe. Let me know that you were here. Let me know what blessed you. And let me know if you're stepping into your soft girl era as well, like me. Listen, I am so excited that women are finding their femininity, that women are stepping into living life with purpose and unique purpose, specifically to how God created them to live. It is a beautiful time to be in. So I love y'all, and I will see y'all on the next video.
You didn't know me, or you wanted